Hi everyone, Maya here. I'm gonna talk about my story about how I became vegan. So, when I was 13, I ate everything. My metabolism was like speedy quick. I still ate meat, I still ate all that stuff. Documentary came out, Fast Food Nation, and the book, and it just talked about how like McDonald's and all those fast food places were just so uberly processed. I kind of started digging deeper into the things that they do to the animals, and it was just gross. My health at that point was not the greatest, really. I had like high cholesterol. I just had a bunch of health problems like allergies, and even as a little kid I was sick like all the time. I had glasses. I don't use glasses anymore. I don't even use contacts. I was totally healed of all of that stuff. And I did it without medicine. And as a kid, juicing was like a thing that my mom always did, and she always like made fresh juices with vegetables and fruits for us to drink to kind of, give us all those nutrients, but like in a drinkable form, and they were so good and healthy. Yeah, so I'd always been introduced to juicing as a little kid because of my mom. When I was 13, I tried to go vegetarian. It didn't really work because I didn't have all the resources, and I really wasn't too familiar with exactly what it meant doing a bunch of sports at that time. And I was like super fit, but I just wasn't healthy because all this food had like so many chemicals in it and like uberly processed. There's just no nutrients in food anymore. I had a hard time doing it. I remember 1 week in, I made it. But then I had like this choir competition and we won first place. And they took me to In-N-Out and I ate a cheeseburger and I felt so bad. But like during that week I felt great. And I remember that, and then I was like, okay, well I'm gonna start off slow. So I went pescatarian, which is where you only eat fish and, obviously fruits and veggies and all that other stuff, but the only meat you eat is fish. And so I did that for a while. Well, as time went on, I started slowly cutting back. And of course I spoke to my doctor and made sure that I was healthy. By the age of 16 was when I decided to go full vegetarian, become a little bit more informed, and was introduced to soy milk. Well, actually soy milk I used to drink like as a little kid as well because I couldn't tolerate milk. I had all these food allergies and I was an unhealthy mess basically. So yeah, I was already kind of introduced to the whole thing, and also meat used to make me sick. It would just like hit me so strongly in the tummy and it was just a disaster. I started watching all these documentaries like Forks Over Knives, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, but there were other ones, Vegucated and Food Inc. There's this one, I think it's called King Corn, and it talks about how basically everything that we eat is made of corn. Like processed foods and even meat, because that's all the animals eat if they're not being fed the dead carcasses, which they don't tell you. Now they just like genetically mutate the animals and they inject them with hormones, and I started becoming more aware of that and researching exactly what it was that I was putting into my body. And I went to Warped Tour. I think I was 17. They were handing out these flyers because a lot of the musicians there were vegan or vegetarian, and it just talks about like the basic facts about why you should become vegan. It's got like some pretty gruesome pictures in here, and it just kind of talks about like what they do to the animals and like the things that they inject them with. This book made me cry. Like, look, they clip off the beak there. They just keep them in compacted cages, and they like leave the dead ones in there with the live animals. So you're basically eating toxic meat. It's disgusting. And look, it's like a dead little cow. It's so sad. Not even milk is really safe to drink anymore, unless it's like raw milk, like, which is illegal to sell in most places. But go figure, it's the healthiest. The things that they do to these animals is just absolutely horrific, and it's because of mass production. Like, high demands for it calls for faster methods. That's probably like getting some sort of blood poisoning, you know, like, ugh. And you eat that. Yeah. It's disgusting. And they force feed them just to fatten them up, and they inject them with water. It is gruesome. Like, this book just made me cry the first time I looked into it. You get to towards the end of the booklet, and it talks about a healthier way to eat. I was introduced to vegetarian meat, which I never knew existed. I mean, I knew tofu existed, but I never knew there was like vegetarian burgers or hot dogs or soy chorizo or any of that yummy stuff. But there is. There's a whole world of vegan products that you can just replace with the disgusting, overly processed animal product things. Yeah, so that really impacted me. It's really great to see how so many people are using like their notoriety to kind of spread the word about going vegan. Oh, and if you want your free guide, it has like a number to call right here. I got this at Warped Tour. Oh, and free recipes. I keep this by my bedside, and I held on to this book, especially when I was, you know, going vegetarian, because it was just a great reminder of why I was doing it. Not only for the sake of the animals and how they're just like treated. It's just such a disturbing process, you know, from the time it goes to from the animal into your body. What they do to it to present it to you, it's gross. Like, okay, so they start off by growing the animal, right? Like, okay, say you're eating a steak. Where does that steak come from? Like, ask yourself that question. Have you ever thought of that? First of all, the mommy cow is artificially inseminated, you know, like right after having another baby. They just inject them with more baby juice, I guess, and they're automatically pregnant again. That's cruelty in itself. Like, I'm not a mom, but I mean, just imagine. Ugh. And then so they get pregnant, and like there's no mercy. I mean, if it's a dairy farm, they kill it if it's a boy. And grind it up for feed, so you know they're eating themselves. If it is a girl cow, then it's like put through misery just to milk it, and like blood gets into your milk because of the bleeding and infected udders. It's disgusting. Once you know the baby grows, they pull it out, they send it off to the slaughterhouse. They keep it there depending on how long or they need it to grow, which they grow pretty quickly because they inject them with hormones. Then they put them through this gruesome process, and they kill them alive. Like for pigs, they just drop them into a bath of like boiling water to skin them and alive. For a cow, they transport them in large freezers alive. They get stuck to the walls of the cars and stuff. I think it talks about this in Food Inc. or Fast Food Nation. And then they pull the poor little animals off the freezer walls, and then they send them to die. You know, just everything happens while they're alive. They're not even like, you know, given shots or anything when they're castrated. By then, you know, that cow's already been injected with hormones, and Lord knows what it's been exposed to, and then you eat it. You eat it. Yeah. And Lord knows where that steak has been or whose hands have touched it, because it's just gone through this whole process of disgustingness. Don't even get me started on chicken, because that's even worse. And you think fish is safe? Have you seen that documentary about the whale slaughtering? I don't think so. It's not tuna that they're feeding you sometimes. Just be careful, because it could be poor little whales. I'm just saying. I just can't tolerate that. And just not even knowing specifically where it's been or what it's gone through, you know, no wonder why we have this laundry list of like epic diseases, because of how our food is made. It's disgusting. Like, I just can't say that enough. So yeah, I'm proud to be vegan. 5 or 6 years of being vegetarian, and now recently, you know, at the age of 21, I decided to go vegan because, I mean, for one, milk makes me sick anyway, because I mean, go figure, they do so much to it. Like, it's just disturbing how much it's processed and the chemicals and the hormones. Of course it doesn't sit well with my stomach, of course it doesn't. You know, after having eliminated so many toxins from my body, like getting rid of meat and everything, of course I don't handle milk, you know, the way I used to, because I'm not used to all those chemicals going into my body. You know, and I try to buy organic veggies. I know some of you are like, well, there's pesticides in the veggies and blah, 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 blah. But of course, you clean them well, and also you buy organic or from farmers markets, because those are the best. Also, it's, you know, things they do, I just can't even explain to you how disgusting it is. Eggs have always kind of grossed me out just because it's the baby of the chicken. It's like, ugh. I just can't. I used to be a lacto-ovo vegetarian, which meant that you still consume dairy products and you still consume eggs, but other than that, no other animal products. And I stopped buying leather goods. Some argue that it's the byproduct of the animal, still adding to the supply and demand. You know, they're just gonna kill more little animals. And then I switched to a lacto-vegetarian, which is where you consume dairy products, but you don't eat eggs, and you eat, like, obviously fruits and veggies. So then there's the ovo-vegetarian, which is, they still eat eggs, but they don't consume dairy products, and aside from that, they eat, like a vegetarian, you know, fruits and veggies. But eating the egg is like eating the chicken. It's just, you know, I mean, there's no denying that. And being vegan is, you know, cutting off all animal-based products, so no dairy, no eggs, just sticking to a plant-based diet, which is healthier, proven to be healthier. Your body feels lighter, it feels regenerated, you just feel better. And I wouldn't go back, I just wouldn't. For those that are wanting to start, I would go, I mean, you can start off little by little. Pescatarian, I think I already explained this. Pescatarian is where they eat fish, but they don't eat any other meat. But sorry, that is not vegetarian. Some people think it is, but it's not. You're still eating poor little fish, and those are still animals, and you cannot eat animals if you're claiming to be vegetarian. It's just not gonna work. Right? Oh, and then juicing, like, I have a website or a page on Facebook that talks about juicing. For those of you that are looking to start, you know, with vegetarianism or veganism, I always recommend juicing. Like, I did that, you know, when I went vegetarian, just to cleanse my body of all those toxins and to really notice the difference from being a meat eater to being fully reliant on a plant-based diet, and you can just tell the difference. And I talk about juicing on my page on Facebook, and I give vegan tips and recipes and a bunch of fun stuff, so go ahead and check it out. So that's my basic story, and now I'm much healthier. I've lost a lot of weight, but that's beside the point. If you're doing it for weight loss, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. My vision is obviously good. I don't know how to prove that to you because it's a video, but I don't wear contacts. I don't use glasses. My skin is, like, better than ever. My hair is healthy as can be. Like, some people have this misconception that if you go vegan, you're, like, losing all your protein and you're gonna be like a stick, dry, disgusting thing, but that is not true, and I'm living proof. I'm healthy as can be, and my doctor will tell you so. But if you are looking to, you know, make that switch and cutting out meats and stuff, I do recommend consulting your doctor, because that's what I did. For me, it was actually a fairly easy and natural process, because, you know, meat would make me sick. I'm lactose intolerant anyway, and so it was just a very natural switch, I guess, for me. But yeah, I do recommend consulting your doctor and checking your blood levels and everything, so you can do like a before and after, which is pretty cool. And I'm cholesterol free, you know, completely. I used to have high cholesterol, which is really bad. And I'm healthy as can be, honestly. So if you need any tips or advice or whatever, looking to go vegan, which I recommend, I am here for you. So let me know. Bye, guys!